I think it's disgraceful that there's now an announcement in the press that the king will not have time to see Prince Harry when he has after he's arrived in London. The prince has arrived in Britain now without Meghan or their children. He's going to attend the ceremony in St Paul's on Wednesday to mark the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games, the Paralympic style competition. And in an interview recently, Harry said that he'd hoped that the king's cancer diagnosis would have a reunifying effect and would therefore, in a sense, be efficacious. He said that he said then that he was willing to return to a temporary royal role in support of his father during the illness, and that he and the king had warm exchanges. He apparently told his friends that he would step into a royal role while his father was unwell. He's fifth in line to the throne. He already has a royal role, no matter how the press spins it. The idea of a non-working royal is a misnomer. It's a nonsensical question. While somebody is in line to the throne, it doesn't really matter whether they're following this sort of new Windsor role of going outside and glad handing and doing Australian walkabouts. They are still royal. They've still got their role. They are still functioning. There is clearly a rift, and it's clearly being massaged and stage managed by the sort of people who surround the King and the Prince of Wales and that sort of royal court, and we know some of them. One of them is Simon Case. He's a shit in Number 10, and he's clearly not behaved very dissimilarly when he was in Kensington. When you're Prime Minister and when you're King and when your Prince of Wales are turning to somebody who is providing advice which causes disruption rather than reconciliation, reciprocity is the aim of the game, not revolution. What else are you expecting? I think these people, the royal family and the Whitehall boffins, the people in Number 10, are in very bad hands. Oh, it's not just Simon Case. I'm sure there are plenty of other case histories around the place who are equally determined to cause problems rather than reach solutions. If Simon Case was actually out to reach a solution, then he would have presented himself for examination. He would have made himself available to investigations. He hasn't, so therefore he opens himself up to whatever sort of invective is going, and I can find plenty of words to describe him, frankly. Not least coward. And if he's able to do his job, he's able to be investigated, he's able to present himself to an inquiry. And that should really be the job of anybody advising senior members of state. Their position in the court is to advise. Every day is an inquiry. Every day they are put on the line and they are asked for their best advice. And advice which is simply provided behind the scenes, and then they aren't accountable to any form of public examination, is not advice we should be taking. And I find the Harry situation terribly sad. Maybe I'm speaking through the miasma of illness, but I think I think the King, the Crown, and the Prime Minister have been badly advised. And a source close to Harry has now said, in response to the many inquiries and continued speculation on whether or not the Duke will meet with his father while in the UK this week, it unfortunately will not be possible due to His Majesty's full programme. The Duke, of course, is understanding of his father's diary of commitments and various other priorities and hopes to see him soon. So the King is going to put a garden party before reconciliation with his son. I don't quite understand, and I don't quite understand where these priorities come from. And there has to be a person within the system who knows both the King and Prince Harry who can have a word. There has to be a person within the system who knows Prince Harry and Prince William who can have a word, and who is respected enough to have a firm word. Too much kowtowing and too much whispering off stage and behind people's backs.